Sonic has been on a roll lately, huh? Frontiers acted as the start of what, at the time, could be considered a renaissance for the franchise. Further reinforced by the release of Sonic Movie 3 and Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, and now even more solidified with Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Sonic Superstars did okay, but it received mixed reception. It still wasn't enough to deter the momentum the franchise had. Let me preface by saying that I'm not super into kart racing games. Truthfully, my experience with the genre has mostly been with Mario Kart and Crash Nitro Kart on the GBA. I find them fun to play for like an hour or so. Afterwards, I just get really bored unless it's like playing with a group of friends and we start shit-talking each other and throwing our controllers at each other and start yelling slur. Sorry, got too real there. The point is, kart racing games don't keep me hooked for long. That is until I started playing this game. When I first played the open network test, I was unbelievably hooked. Actually, no, you know what? I was hooked the moment I saw the Extreme Gears returning and saw my GOAT, Jet the Hawk, making a comeback. So I was already optimistic just by what I was seeing in the advertisement. I mean, they started dissing Mario Kart World, which is crazy. Did I travel back to the 90s? Is this what we're doing now, Sega? And when I finally had a taste of this game, it was raps for me. Like, this game took my soul away from my body and sent it packing to whatever afterlife there is when you play Sonic Racing Crossworlds. 1 hour turned into 2 hours. 2 hours turned into 3 hours. 3 hours turned into 4 hours. I couldn't believe I was this invested in a kart racing game. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, the roster. It brings a decent sized roster with a lot of recognizable Sonic characters, without including the bonus or downloadable ones, with even more coming soon as DLC. It also includes characters from other Sega properties. So you'll see Joker from Persona 5, Ichiban Kasuga from Like a Dragon, Hatsune Miku? They really putting everyone, bro. Everyone is here. Quite literally, because we are also gonna get guest characters from franchises outside Sega. We're gonna get Steve from Smash Bros. From Minecraft. My bad. SpongeBob. And Mega Man is getting offered shelter by his homie Sonic. Heartwarming to see. You love to see it. This is what true friendship looks like. But jokes aside, it's nice to know the game is getting dev support for a while, and hopefully the lifespan of the game lasts for a good amount of time. Each character falls into a category that highlights the area they specialize in. Their speed, handling, acceleration, power, and boost. Combined with the wide variety of parts and vehicles, this system offers plenty of options to customize stats to your preference. And it brings a lot of substantial customization. Like, you can mix and match different parts to make your own unique card combinations. Cosmetics are also included with the options to change the colors of your cards, like specific parts of your cards, so you can make unique color combinations as well as add some extra designs, and you can even aura farm. Like, this game has it all. Vehicles also have the same archetypes as the characters. To slightly expand on what I said earlier, you can take a character like Tails, who specializes in acceleration, and pair him with a power type vehicle. And this combination gives him extra strength when bumping into opponents while still retaining slightly better acceleration. But your handling suffers quite a bit. You can practically feel the bulk of the vehicle due to its lesser degree of control, and also making drifting more challenging. This is prevalently seen when you try to drift in tight corners. The boost vehicles take the form of Extreme Gears, while the other categories use cards but with different designs. And I'm just gonna say it right now, I'm gonna be a boost one trick. I'm gonna be an Extreme Gear one trick, alright? I ain't gonna use these cars, alright? Extreme Gears are my thing. Extreme Gears are what I live for. Now let's talk about the racing itself, starting with the controls. They feel really responsive across the board. Everything has a natural flow and animations look fairly polished. Initially, the drifting felt a little weird. If you're coming from Mario Kart like me, it can take a little while to get used to the drifting. Since it's not as snappy, it feels more slippery, more loose by comparison. It has more nuance than I initially thought. It takes some level of skill to maximize the most out of your drift. For me at least, it didn't take long until I got the hang of it. You can also change directions without losing your drift boost, so it adds that mechanical depth to it. So for example, before making a big turn, I can start a drift to charge the first meter, I let go of the drift button for a split second to change directions. By the time I complete the turn, I've built up a full boost. There was something that was really familiar about the gameplay when I first saw it, and how they showcased the races in some of their animations, and then it hit me like a lightning bolt. This is a Speed Racer game. The way that it feels and flows looks like something that would come out of Speed Racer. They even made a reference to the Speed Racer movie in one of their trailers. Like, they know what's up. They know what they're doing. There's definitely gonna be some sick tech to this, and I can just imagine how good it will be if optimized with extreme gears. Then you got the trick system, which whenever you launch yourself in the air, you can press any direction to perform a trick, and the more tricks you do, the better the boost you get when you land. It reminds me a bit of the trick system from Sonic Riders. Like, compared to Riders, whenever you did tricks, you had to like time it so that you don't do a trick mid-landing, otherwise it would just screw you over and lose all of your momentum. I don't know how they did it in previous Sonic racing games, but I just thought I would share that because it just reminded me a lot of the one from Sonic Riders. The races at Sonic Speed and Supersonic Speed feel fast, and I know, it's a Sonic game. That's practically the whole thing of the franchise. But they really nailed the feel of going fast without making it super technical while still having a skill ceiling for those that have that competitive drive, and that's all I could ask for in a kart racer. I also got to mention that I appreciate how it punishes you for bumping into walls or barriers. If you bump into a wall, you lose some rings, and rings are kind of important here because by collecting rings, your max speed gets increased. So I really like how you get a penalty for reckless driving or player error. It just encourages you to get better overall. Of course, this wouldn't be a kart racer without items to cause a little chaos. Pretty standard stuff with how they work. You get an item capsule, and you randomly get a certain item with your placing influencing the item you get. And they are as chaotic as what you would expect. They feel good when you hit someone, not so much when you're on the receiving end. Especially when you're at the end of a race where you've been first for the whole thing and then get slaughtered by a barrage of items. Yep, this is a kart racer. You can defend yourself with your own items if you have the right item at that proper time, or if you have the gadgets and you're skilled enough, you can mitigate the item onslaught. One little thing that I like is how the green rocket has a reticle, so if you aim at someone and then shoot, it works like the red shell from Mario Kart, but if you just shoot without a target, it works more like the green shell, which is weird because it also has a red variant with the red rocket, only with that one you don't need to aim. But regardless, I still think it's cool how there's different ways to use an item. Another thing I want to mention is how some of these attacks take someone else's items. Not like in the Ghost Boo fashion, like if you get hit by the slicer, you lose an item and someone that's behind you can take it for themselves. It's messed up, but I like it. It's on brand with kart racers. The shining gimmick of this game, however, comes from the Crossworld mechanic. You go through the first lap with the track that was initially selected, then the second lap transports you to another location, and it all culminates in the third lap, sending you back to the initial track. The thing is, some areas that weren't available during the first lap get opened up during that final one. So it spices things up because you've returned to the course you started out and it's more familiar to you, but now there's new roads to take. The player that's in the lead in the first lap gets shown two options they can pick for the Crossworld track. One shows you a set location and the other can transport everyone to a random track. So if I'm in the lead and I see a track that I don't like, I can just pick random and send everyone else to, say, the dinosaur track. I don't know the name of it, I'm sorry. And since some vehicles do better in some tracks than others, or maybe they just want to prevent others from picking a Crossworld they don't like, it gives players a stronger incentive to take first place by giving them the choice to control the Crossworld locations. The tracks are, for the most part, very well designed. There's a nice balance of risk versus reward here, with some roads requiring a decent amount of skill to navigate through them. They are more intricate than they look, with a lot of tracks having multiple paths to take. Sometimes you get to make split-second decisions based on your current status. Maybe in one path you might want to collect rings to increase your speed, or maybe you want to take an item, or you just want to take a boost panel to keep a lead or close the gap. And you're going to want to get good at them, because there are red star rings that can be collected. Yep, just like in Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, this game brings the red star rings with 5 of them on each track. By collecting them, you get rewarded more tickets that you can use to buy parts, cosmetics, or gift them to the characters to increase their friendship level. And there are a lot of things to unlock, so you're going to be grinding these tickets for a while. So far, I think my favorite track has been Kronos Island. It just strikes that nice balance of difficulty and simplicity. It's a pretty challenging course that tested my mechanical skills with a couple of sharp turns that if I messed up, I would fall off the track. All that practice with the drifting paid off here because it really felt satisfying navigating through those sharp turns. And also the music here is top tier. Whoever made it really popped off because it is godlike. There's around 30 courses, I'm counting the Crossworlds by the way, as of the launch of this game, with 8 Grand Prix races to go through. Whenever you start a Grand Prix, it sets you up with a rival, a CPU that is more challenging than the rest, and I mean it. The rival system here is no joke, and it makes the races exciting. I found this to be a really fun way to add a challenge, as well as making the races slightly more thrilling since you're gonna be on the lookout for your rival and making sure they don't get the upper hand. It's probably my favorite mechanic of the game. I really like it. It's enticing enough to make you come back and replay the races, at least just to see some of the interactions between the characters.
Hey there, do you like to race too? Do I like to?
Are you kidding me? Do you know who I am?
Oh my god, Jet, why are you going off on Big the Cat? Big just asked a simple question and Jet just went LTG on him.
You should kill yourself now!
So you get to see characters that have never met each other in the mainline games interact here. So you get interactions like Sage and Silver or Blaze with Jet, which adds to that rival vibe and sets the mood up before the race. Your rival can even make comments mid-race, although I will say, sometimes the banter just takes my attention away from the race. Not really a criticism, but I hope they have an option to disable them if you just want to focus on playing the game. Now, let's talk about the gadget system because I think they bring a dynamic element to these races. You can customize your gadgets so that you or your vehicle can have certain characteristics, like being able to do more tricks, faster charge on your drift meter. You can slightly enhance a stat like speed or acceleration, or you can have an item at the beginning of the race. If you're using a monster truck gadget, you are not seeing the pearly gates. There's a limit to the amount of gadgets you can use. Some gadgets can occupy 2 or 3 slots of the plate, so you really have to think about what works for you. Thankfully, so far, it doesn't really feel like there's any broken gadgets. There's definitely going to be a meta established pretty soon. That's just the nature of how these games go, but nothing feels too strong, and you're given the freedom to customize your selection of gadgets in your own way, whether it's by playstyle or for specific card combinations. You're given a variety of game modes alongside the Grand Prix. You got the race parks that sets you up with teams, and you navigate through the tracks while doing certain challenges like collecting as many rings as you can, bumping into a teammate, and other challenges. It's nice for those that want something a little different from the traditional racing. There's a lot of replayability here. You're given so many incentives and challenges to clear, and by clearing those challenges, you're given tickets and other rewards. And now that brings me to my last talking point, which is the soundtrack. I mean, it's a Sonic game, man. A Sonic game with a bad soundtrack is as rare as finding a happy Twitter user. In other words, this soundtrack is really good. There is one song I don't like, and it's the main theme. I'm sorry, I just think it's really cheesy, and it sounds like something you'd hear in a Disney Junior cartoon. I just don't vibe with it that much. Everything else, pretty solid across the board. There's not much for me to comment on this topic because it's Sonic music. These guys have found the formula for good video game music. Overall, I'm enjoying my time with this game. It's about time Mario Kart had some competition, and I think Sonic Racing Crossworlds stepped up to the plate and brought something special. I'm not gonna go into whether I think this game is better than Mario Kart World, because I played Mario Kart World for 2 to 3 hours with friends, so I didn't get to fully experience everything, but if I were to compare both my experience with it and Sonic Crossworlds based around those hours, I enjoyed my time with Sonic Crossworlds a lot more. I was more invested in the races, farming the tickets, and wanting to unlock everything. And I just found it more interesting mechanically. But this is my opinion. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Both games are good. You decide which one you like the most. For Sonic Racing Crossworlds, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really solid kart racing game. It's good fun. Reminds me a lot of Speed Racer, and I like the Speed Racer movies, so yeah, that's a positive for me. The purchase will definitely be worth it. It's just pretty solid across the board. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a new video quite soon, actually, so if you guys are interested in seeing it, subscribe to the channel. You know how it be. Till then, take care, drink lots of water, and peace out.